Hi friends, many of you visited Turkey and fell in love with its beauty. So many are considering to make a move and live in Turkey. Turkey is considered one of the easiest countries to acquire Turkish Residence Permit, which is a touristic residence permit that can be up to 2 years. So is it still easy? Stay with me in this video to tell you about all the documents needed, the approximate cost, the rental contracts, and what are the cities that are now closed for the Turkish residence permit as foreigners. Yes, Türkiye has stopped issuing residence permit in one of the most touristic and visited cities in Turkey. Stay with me to let you know what is this province. Once applying for the Turkish residence permit, you should make sure that all the documents required are ready with you. Starting with the first one, which is the residence permit application form. To get the application form for the residence permit, in Turkey, you should enter into a website called e-ikamet.goc.gov.tr. Filling the data inside this website, it's not an easy thing, especially that sometimes it's not working. So my advice is that you give it to someone who do this service, a service provider, and if you would like, I can advise you about someone who is trustworthy. And also, you have to print it colored and not black and white. After printing the application form, you should sign it at the bottom before presenting it to the Göç İdaresi. Second, you need 4 biometric photos. Those photos should be as per the Turkish sizes. It's different from the Schengen size and it's different from different countries. So don't bring your photos from outside and then send it because it will be refused. Once you come to Turkey, go to a photographer and develop new photos, new biometric photos, and tell him for the Ikamet. So then he will know how to print it for you. The third thing you're gonna need is your passport. It should be translated and notarized by a notary. And also you should have a photocopy of your passport to be handled to the Göç İdaresi or the immigration center once you submit your application. Also keep in mind that they will not take your original passport, they will keep it with you. You hear many people saying about proof of sufficient income that you have when you want to apply for a residence permit in Turkey for up to 1 year, and for every month it's equivalent to around $500 per month, or which is the minimum wage of a person living in Turkey. But as I've seen from many people and myself, they never asked me about the financial thing, but you don't know when they ask for it, so you're gonna need to have a proof. Health insurance. You should have a health insurance which is called Yabancı Sağlıklı Sigorta, or foreigner health insurance that you can buy once you come to Turkey. There are a lot of providers, but make sure that you connect with someone who is trustworthy. So if you need a trustworthy person, just drop us an email and we can guide you to someone who is really trustworthy, who can give you the real insurance and will not scam you. The seventh thing, and one of the most important things, is to have a rental contract. In this rental contract, when it's official, you should have your name and all your details listed, your passport number, etc., and the exact address of the apartment that you rented or house. And also there will be the details of the landlord, his identity number, his name, etc. And also there will be mentioned in it the rental fees for 1 month and the total for the 1 year. Also they will mention on it the deposit that you put if it's 1 month or 2 months fees, and also they will mention how much are the aidat or the monthly fees for the building maintenance, and this is paid by the tenant also. Also when you go to the notary to notarize this rental contract, the fees are paid by you, and I think it's around 300-400 Turkish lira. And the landlord and the tenant should be available at the same time when you are notarizing the contract. This was introduced this year because a lot of cheating was happening before. And if the landlord doesn't want to go with you, then if someone has a power of attorney from the landlord, also he can go and finish this contract with you at the notary. Also when you go to the notary, you might require a Turkish translator, and you have to pay his fees also, because the notary there will ask you in Turkish if you read and understood what comes in the contract that you are signing. So if you don't know how to answer him, then he will ask for a Turkish translator and you have to pay his fees. Also, some of the tenants, they are asking for 6 months in advance or 1 year in advance because they are facing a problem with a lot of foreigners where they come to here, they just rent for 1-2 months and then they leave the house and they travel outside of the country. Not everyone is doing this, but you will find some. 8. This one of the first steps that you should do when you come to Turkey is you have to acquire a tax number. If you don't have a tax number, you cannot do anything because this tax number, it will be connected to your identity card later on once you acquire the Turkish Residence Permit, and you will not use it anymore because everything automatically will be linked to the identity number of the Turkish card. So if you don't have this, then you have to go to the tax office and acquire it, and here where it comes the help of a service provider if you don't know. Most of the expats who are coming to Turkey, they will be living in Istanbul, Antalya, Ankara, Izmir, or Muğla. Now, if we're going to talk about Antalya and what are the neighborhoods that are closed, Konyaaltı, they close Liman, Sarisu, and Hurma Mahallesi, or neighborhoods. And also in Murat Pasha, Topçular Mahallesi, it's closed, and they close some areas in Döşemeyaltı area. So whenever you come to Antalya and you want to apply for residence permit, you can make sure to ask what are the neighborhoods that are open for the residence permit. Otherwise, if you rent and make a contract for 1 year, the contract is binding, so you cannot leave the contract and you have to pay it. And you cannot acquire residence permit. The cost of acquiring the Turkish residence permit starts from the Turkish residence card. The Turkish residence card, it costs you 356 Turkish lira as of 2023 because every year things change. For now, as per today's exchange rate, if we are talking in US dollars, it will be 12.5. If we are talking in euros, it will be 11.5 euros. And in sterling pound, it will be around 10.2 sterling pounds. The cost of applying for the application, it is 25 US dollars for the first month, and every month is $5. So if you calculate it, it will be around 80 US dollars for the whole year. And you can apply for maximum of 2 years for the touristic residence permit. And if you want to apply for 2 years, you have to make sure that you have the insurance covering for 2 years and the rental contract also. I'm going to show you a list. In this list, you will see every country and how much is the price to acquire the Turkish residence permit. So you can find your country in this list, pause the video for a second and check the fees so you can have an idea. The health insurance price is expected to raise by 50% this year with respect to the last year. And they are saying because of the inflation and the medical equipment prices are going up and a lot of people are coming to Turkey and they are using the medical sector, etc. As inpatient or as emergency, if you go to a hospital that is not contracted with the insurance provider, you have to cover 20% of total amount from your pocket and 80% will be covered from the insurance company. If you go by emergency to any hospital who is contracted with the insurance, then they will cover it 100%. And there are a lot of terms. Once you get this insurance, you can check it and you can see what are your rights and what you can use for it with it and what not. For example, for myself, as per my age, because as you know, the insurance is paid as per the age group. For me, last year I paid around 2,000 Turkish lira, 2,200 Turkish lira. And this year they're saying it's gonna be 50% more, so it's expected to be around 3,000, 3,500 Turkish lira. And the more you go up in the age, the more expensive it will be. It starts from the age 18 up to 65. Any service provider who can help you with the Ikamet thing or with the residence permit in Turkey, he can only fill your documents, prepare your documents, tell you about all the procedure, how it's going to happen, but he cannot guarantee you anything because the thing is related to the immigration department in the country. And once you submit your application there, you have to wait up to 3 months. And this happened with us. For me, I used to get it with 1 week or 2 weeks for me and my wife, while when I applied for my new baby, it took us around 2 months. Also, if you want some data, there is a hotline. 157 is for the immigration. They speak multiple languages, but believe me, no matter what you ask them, every time they will respond to you something different. And once you want to know the real details about something, it's really hectic. They tell you to go to the Goç İdaresi, and once you go to the Goç İdaresi or the immigration center, they will tell you, do you have an appointment? And then you say, no, I'm coming to ask. They will tell you, you can call 157. I'm calling 157, nobody is getting me the answer that I want. And then they will tell you, send an email. You tell them that I sent an email and no response. And so they will allow you to enter into the Goç İdaresi or the immigration center and ask your questions. And last time we had the new passports, me and my wife, and we went to the Goç İdaresi or to the immigration center to register the new passports. Once we went to the agent inside, he said, no need, definitely no need to register new passports. And I know that this is a definite thing that the passport should be registered, because how come I want to go outside of Turkey with a new passport number and this passport didn't enter the country and does not have any stamp on the passport that I entered this country? He said, no, definitely, and he was sure. I went back out to the information desk where I know a lady who can understands well, and she speaks different languages, and she's good about the info in the Goç İdaresi. And then she was surprised. Who told you that you should not do this? It's a mandatory step. And then she gave us a form and we filled it and we submitted. So once you want to do something in Turkey, visit it to the Goç İdaresi. Don't get it only by phone, because sometimes the answers are wrong. Once you acquire the Turkish Residence Permit, this is a short-term residence permit or a touristic residence permit, as it's known. You cannot work. If you want to apply for a job in Turkey, the business owner should provide you with a work permit, which is different than the residence permit. Once the work permit is issued, your residence permit also will be continuous. It will not stop. For example, if you have a residence permit for 2 years and you get a work permit for 1 year, and after 1 year work permit expires, then your residence permit will continue and it will not expire until the end of its date. When you should apply for the residence permit? You should apply for the residence permit if your stay exceeds the maximum amount that's allowed as per your country. And most of the countries, they are allowed 90 days every 180 days in Turkey for the touristic purpose. So if you want to exceed the 90 days, you should apply for a Turkish residence permit. If you exceed those days, then you will be subject to a penalty at the airport when you are going out. You should apply 2 weeks before the expiry of the 90 days from your entrance to the country. Once you apply to the residence permit in Turkey, you don't have to worry if your 90 days are expired, because once you apply, you will get a small paper from the Goç İdaresi or the immigration center that you applied and you are legally staying in the country. If you want to go outside of the country within the period that you are waiting for your residence permit or your residence permit card, you can go to the Goç İdaresi and ask for permission to go up to 15 days. This is the maximum time they allow you to go out. But as I heard, that many people are applying for this permission to go outside the country while they are processing their residence permit application, but permission is not granted, especially after the big influx of foreigners coming to Turkey. Then they are not making it too much easy to have such things. So my advice for you is stay in the country, prepare yourself before you come, and apply normally. If you book an appointment and you cancel it twice within 6 months with the immigration center or the Goç İdaresi, then you will not be entitled to apply anymore to the residence permit. So make sure that once you apply, go to your appointment and don't skip it. In some provinces, you can choose the date at the time you want, but like in Antalya, last time I applied, they picked the date and they picked the time. The province that is closed for any foreigner who want to apply for a Turkish residence permit is Istanbul. Istanbul in September, it's closed for foreigners who want to apply for a Turkish residence permit. It's impossible anymore to apply for Turkish residence permit in Istanbul. It will be denied. This is the last news that we heard. If they change it later, maybe, we don't know yet. I will keep you updated when I have new news. One more thing, the numbers that I mentioned in the application form or the prices are subject to change at any time, so don't blame me if later on it will be more. Here the prices are changing on a daily basis, so if I say about thing today is 3,000, maybe tomorrow or 2 months it's 4,000 Turkish lira. So just for info. And the price is table of the application as per nationality I brought it from the website of the Göç İdaresi or the immigration, so it's 100% legal. If they change later the prices, so you have to keep yourself updated to see if it still suits you. And also you can ask your service provider if you are doing it with someone. 2 years before, I will tell you that you can apply it by yourself. But nowadays, after all the restrictions that Turkey are implementing on the foreigners or the expats, it's becoming harder and harder, and it's becoming tricky. So my advice for you is to contact someone who can provide all the service for you, prepare the application, tell you all the papers, where to get it, where to bring it, and the notary, etc. So it will ease your life once you come to here, especially when you are new and you don't speak the Turkish language, which is the main barrier in Turkey. So if you don't speak Turkish, it's really hard. It's nice if you can find a service provider, and then the service provider will help you in everything. So if you need someone at the end trustworthy, you can just drop us an email and we will reply back to you. Finally, do not forget to subscribe, like, and hit the notification bell for new videos from us, and comment if you have any comments, and leave your comments there if you need anything, and then we will reply to you as soon as we can. Thank you.